If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
The House Oversight Committee held a hearing today to address unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAPs, which were previously known as UFOs, but nonetheless, this has been an ongoing debacle, an ongoing story that I was avoiding until now. And to be quite frank, the hearing was fascinating to say the least. Before I give you the details about what the allegations are here, who testified during this hearing, and what the conclusions might be, I want to go to you first, John. As our resident science and space nerd, I feel like that's what you're known for.
Am I a space nerd? I don't know, I'm a sci-fi nerd, I suppose.
Close enough.
Sure, yeah. I don't care.
Oh, really?
I know, I do and I don't at the same time. I'm sure I'm gonna be invested in all the videos. But for me, I don't expect anything to come from this.
Oh, that's good, because
and
nothing will come from it.
I'm not saying he's lying or that he's wrong or that he's telling the truth or that he's right. I don't know, but I feel deep in my bones that regardless of which it is, we're not gonna uncover anything. I am sure that there are aliens. I just don't know.
How are you sure that there are aliens?
Because there are like countless trillion galaxies, and it's too much real estate for us to have been the only time that intelligent life has developed. I'm just playing the numbers game here, like a lot of people have. But for me, like I don't necessarily believe that they're like cruising around like over the Pacific Ocean every day for years. Why? Why are they just doing laps over the Pacific Ocean?
We have footage of them, John.
That is pretty high res.
We have footage, okay.
That's pretty high res.
So let's back up. Let me give you the details about what's transpiring. If, like me, up until today, you were ignoring the story and have no idea what's going on. So apparently there are now multiple individuals who were in the military who claim that the military is essentially, the Defense Department is essentially hiding information from Congress and the general public in regard to unidentified aerial phenomenon, okay? So the three individuals who testified before the House Oversight Committee today included David Grush, who is a veteran and intelligence officer. We've also got David Fravor, who is a former Navy commander, and Ryan Graves, a retired Navy pilot. Now, all three of them said different things during the hearing, and I'm gonna do my best to summarize what their allegations are in the story. So last month, David Grush, the man that you just saw in the first video we showed you, came forward with accusations that the Defense Department has been hiding UAPs from Congress. Now, according to him, the US government, its allies, and even defense contractors have possessed both fragmented and intact UAPs for decades. Some of these UAPs are allegedly the size of football fields, according to what he claims. And Grush has even stated that non-human biologics were recovered along with some of those UAPs. Now, he's a veteran who has worked specifically with UAPs for years. From 2019 to 2021, he served as the National Reconnaissance Office's representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. I didn't even know if that task force existed until today, but it does.
It's part of the X-Files.
And between 2021 and 2022, he was the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency's, or NGA's, lead or co-lead for UAP analysis. Anyway, long story short, he seems to have experience and expertise in this area, considering what his previous job was. But there is a catch. He also says that he has not personally seen UAPs in person, okay? Rather, he's only passing on what he claims that he's seen in documents and photos, along with what he's heard from over 40 witnesses. And he also said in today's hearing that because of all of that information, he now knows the exact location of the US government's UAPs.
Then let's go. Let's stop with the hearings. Just get some buses. put all the Congress people on them, ship them over to the base and knock on the front door and let's just find out. If it's the size of a football field, then let's just see it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I just like.
Look, as I watched most of the hearing today. I couldn't stop listening to it. For some reason, I found it super fascinating. But what stood out to me in the testimony was really the lack of specificity. And when members of Congress ask good questions, and I'll be fair, I think members of both sides of the aisle, like they asked, in some cases, very specific, good questions. The answer was always, I'm not at liberty to talk about this publicly, but I'll talk about it like privately, that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, so it left, I felt the hearing was wanting in the information that was provided to the general public.
Yeah, well, and at least for him, again, he doesn't have firsthand experience with this.
Right.
He has experience of other people, which I believe he has said are legion and credible, but we don't know who they are. I mean, theoretically they could come forward, but maybe they couldn't speak about it publicly. Again, there's just so many levels of, this whole thing feels tailor-made, not like to function for the pursuit of truth, but to function to provide conspiracy theorists who will take at face value literally everything that's said without a second thought, mainly as an intentional distraction from other things going on. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Like if you're interested in like extraterrestrial life, then let's throw some more money into space exploration. Let's really juice the STEM programs for American students or something, and then we'll get out there and we can go see them on their home field. I just feel like just watching another grainy video of a shadow that some jet buzzed past. Look, either that convinced you in the 70s or it didn't, because it's no better than it was back then.
I am shocked at your response to this story.
So what am I supposed to do with this? What is anyone supposed to do with this?
You seem kind of mad about it.
No, I'm mad because just prove it. Just show us a laser gun that we couldn't possibly have made. Show us like the face of an alien that you like rolled up and like secreted out of a base or something. Just show us something definitive, or send, I don't know, get Joe Biden down to one of these places or something.
Okay.
If there were UAPs, you're telling us that Trump wouldn't have revealed it for clout? Like he wouldn't have posted a photo of him in front of like an alien corpse or something? Nobody has revealed this before.
Maybe the Defense Department kept all of this information under wraps, even from the president of the United States.
That is possible.
Okay, so I want to go to some of the videos from the hearing, much to the detriment of John Iadarola sitting next to me right now.
I'm fine.
But I do want to note that Grush wasn't the only person who testified. I had mentioned earlier that Ryan Graves also testified during this hearing. And he's a retired Navy pilot who stated that he himself encountered UAPs every day for at least a couple of years off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Let's go to part of Graves's testimony during the hearing today.
During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, 2 F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter. The mission commander terminated the flight immediately and returned to base. Soon, these encounters became so frequent that aircrew would discuss the risk of UAP as part of their regular pre-flight briefs.
How do you know that these were not our aircraft?
Some of the behaviors that we saw in a working area, we would see these objects being at 0.0 Mach, that's 0 airspeed, over certain pieces of the ground. So what that means, just like a river, if you throw a bobber in, it's gonna float downstream. These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. These same objects would then accelerate to supersonic speeds, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, and they would do so in very erratic and quick behaviors that I don't have an explanation for.
So he says that he has witnessed this firsthand. And look, I agree with you. I don't know what to make of it, right? Because obviously for me to believe, I have to see evidence, and the evidence needs to go beyond one person or a few people saying that they witnessed these things firsthand or didn't witness these things firsthand but saw documentation about them. But like, what would compel this guy to lie?
I'm not saying that he's lying.
Yeah.
He seems perfectly genuine. He says that he saw it over and over and over again, hundreds of times. I personally, on like the 18th trip, would have like taken out my iPhone and taken a high resolution photo of it or something. I feel like if you were seeing this hundreds of times, you would take a clear photo or video rather than just a shadow or just a report. But there's no reason to believe that he's lying or any of them. It's entirely possible to be telling the truth and to be wrong. It's entirely possible that it was some sort of advanced drone or some sort of Russian reconnaissance aircraft or something. Maybe not, maybe it's a UAP, but again, what are we supposed to do with that?
So let's address that real quick, because I do think that there are many possibilities, right? So sure, it could be a UFO or UAP. There's also the fact that our government is gigantic and there are many different agencies, and there's a possibility that one agency is experimenting with something and is not communicating with other government agencies about it. And so there's a lack of communication. That lack of communication is leading to some misunderstanding or confusion about certain things that might have been cited by former members of the military. That's a possibility. During the hearing, the possibility of private tech companies experimenting with things might have led to sightings of their experiments that are difficult to explain if you're not privy to what's happening. So there are other explanations for sure. I want to be clear about that. And look, based on what I witnessed or heard during their testimony, I don't think they're lying. I don't think that these are like nefarious people who are being dishonest. I just think that they saw things that they want answers to. They want more transparency, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think more transparency would be a good thing. And when it comes to Graves, the gentleman you just heard from, he was also asked how many UAP encounters allegedly go unreported. And I thought that his answer here was interesting. So let's take a quick look at that.
What percentage of UAP sightings, in your belief, go unreported by our pilots?
This is an approximation based off of my personal experience speaking with a number of pilots, but I would estimate we're somewhere near 5% reporting perhaps.
So like 95% basically don't report seeing UAPs.
That's just my personal estimate.
All right, so that's what he's estimating here. And I think you're right, John. I don't think that we're gonna get any answers about any of this anytime soon. I don't know if members of Congress are using this issue as a distraction. I know that they love to distract from the fact that they don't like to do their jobs and actually make people's lives better. But I think at the heart of this issue is some concern that there's a lack of transparency when it comes to certain things that members of Congress should be privy about, certain things that the general public should know about. I agree with that general statement. Do I think anything's gonna be done about this? Probably not, but we'll see.
Look, I would love if Joe Biden decided, you know what, we're gonna have radical transparency and we're gonna get to the bottom of this, and we really found out what it was, which is either UAPs or military technology. That's more likely to me, but I would love it. But again, I think for a lot of people, their interest in this is driven by, again, people want something exciting. They want something that makes reality seem understandable. They like the idea of the government covering up something huge and it finally being revealed. I think that there's a lot of different stuff that more people need to understand the government being in bed with. It does not require you to believe in the existence of UAPs. I just our world is ringed by a lot of satellites, and there's a lot of people with cameras, and there's civilian aircraft, and still the evidence does not seem particularly good. I feel like there's a lot of people with cameras in their pockets walking around, and we don't see much better evidence than what we saw in that videos. I do believe that they exist. I don't find the evidence that's been presented yet particularly convincing.
And some of the men who testified today claim that in trying to disclose what they've experienced or witnessed, they've been threatened by colleagues. And I think there should be an investigation into that, because they shouldn't be silenced if they have concerns and they want to go public with that. We've supported whistleblowers in the past, and if they fancy themselves whistleblowers who are trying to blow the whistle on some government wrongdoing, they should be protected. So
I agree.
Yeah, so if anyone is actually threatening them, their livelihoods or their lives, that should be looked into 100%. But so far, you're right, no evidence. And I leave you with this quote or this statement from Senator Marco Rubio. He says, one of two things are true. Either A, they're telling the truth or some version of the truth, or B, we have a bunch of people with high clearances and really important jobs in our government who are nuts. Both are a problem. And I'm not accusing these people of being nuts. That said, that's something we'll look at and continue to look at seriously. In other words, we're not gonna get to the bottom of this. At least I don't think so, that's my prediction, but we'll see.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.